Good job, guys. That's New River Rising. They'll be back in our second hour. I'd like to take just a minute to introduce a special guest this evening. He's a private investigator, and he's looking for some hot leads on his current case, and I thought that you, our audience, could help him out. As he reviews his case for us tonight, if you think you have a hot tip or a good lead or some insight into the case, we want to hear from you. Please come up to our audience tip hotline microphone, the one up front on the far right side, and we will let you speak with him live on the air with you shortly. But since we are live on the air, we can only accept a few tips tonight. So first come, first access to, I don't believe I know your name. Tell us about yourself and your current case.
Well, I'm from a city called Halleck. All the postcards describe it as the place to chase your dreams. Not pictured, the cage it's locked in, or the Armani man with the plastic smile holding the key. It's a ransom he wants, and in 6 easy payments, you're no closer to having it. Just a new set of bars to call your own. The lights attract the gullible like moths to a flame, and their wings burn. And before long, it's just another pitiful soul trying to avoid getting stepped on. In a perfect world, the law would shut it down. But every I is dotted, every T is crossed, and all the right rings get their kiss. And when you wipe away the veneer of sweet lies, you see things for how they really are. Street gangs in pinstripes, chameleons in patrol cars. Banks see robbery every day, but the crooks standing on the wrong side of the till. The only reason a good person stays in Halleck is because they've not learned their lesson, or they can't get out. Lady Justice has her hands full, and sometimes she needs someone willing to look without the blindfold. When the commissioner's wearing a pair of bureaucratic handcuffs and the scum of the earth's charging your rent, it's time to involve a professional. That's where I come in. You make a lot of enemies walking between the light and the dark, but that's what shadows do. And if you ask the right questions in the wrong parts of town, you'll find me. Maybe it's a card placed when you weren't looking, a note on a napkin. You'll get your lead. Aliases seem like something best saved for people who wear capes and their underwear on the outside. But when you've spit in the eye of enough lowlives, you learn the value of skullduggery. I got no time to walk Johnny Law's red tape tightrope. The people who come to me are at the end of theirs. My job is to find the truth in a web of lies, with a retirement plan 30 inches wide and 6 feet deep. We can dispense with the formalities. I'm the shadow. My latest case began with thunder.
Shadow, you have a visitor.
Thanks, Nellie. Send him in.
Her.
What's that?
Her, as opposed to he, meaning the client's a woman.
If I wanted an English lesson, I would have hired Webster. Nellie gave me the business, but she kept pace better than any dame I ever knew. She had more spirit than any pencil pusher had to write, and talking to her was like going around with a southpaw. But when it came to organizing and taking care of an office, she put the pride of British butlers to shame. We worked out of a nook in the corner of Blink and You'll Miss It Alley. A slice of nothing Nellie turned into her own personal palace of hardwoods and dim lighting. She was the best. The problem was, she knew it. Send her in then.
Yep. Oh, but before I do, you know the Carmichael case?
Caught that on the news the other night. Monty Carmichael, age 35, was found dead in his home with all the fingers pointing at the wife. Why? Nellie raised her eyebrows and tipped her head at me. In an instant, I knew what she was saying. The lady waiting patiently in the next room was none other than Electra Carmichael, recent widow and prime suspect in her husband's death. Well, Nellie, tonight just got interesting. With a nod, Nellie opened the door and took her leave. I didn't have long to reflect on the details of the case, and even less time to cut away the media spin. The Carmichael name didn't mean much to the town before Monty bought the farm. He held a job at a bank, a white-collar stiff who kept his head down. His wife was described as a garden variety Stepford, no kids. The rumor mill was already churning, and she was the taffy du jour. a wife pushed too far, an affair uncovered, or there was even an article suggesting alien mind control. The piranhas were swarming, and it was my riverbank she crawled onto. She wasn't what I was expecting. She looked at me, not like a scared doe, but like a falcon with a razor mind for talons. She was refined and chic, but all the diamonds, pearls, and perfumes in the world couldn't cover the scorch of disdain that look held for me. But what burned her more was the fact that she needed me. Yeah, she was a falcon, all right, but a falcon with clipped wings. Have a seat, Miss Carmichael.
I'd rather stand.
The only time she took her eyes off me was to cast judgment on my cramped office. I wasn't much for decorating, and the chairs were stiff. Her world was cashmere and silk. Mine was dreamless nights and gunmetal.
The shadow, huh? Isn't that a bit dramatic?
It's a mask as much as message. No matter where a criminal hides or how far they run, they'll never lose a shadow. Every time they turn around, there I'll be. But you didn't come here to talk about me.
I have a problem.
From what I heard, you already took care of it. You want off the hook? Go see a priest.
So you've been listening to the reporters. Figures. They've got it all wrong.
Enlighten me.
I obviously didn't do this. But it goes deeper than that. I think I'm being framed. It's like someone is feeding the cops false information to try to pin it on me. Setting me up somehow. I need someone outside of the precinct to find the truth. Someone this, whoever it is, doesn't know about and can't control. I know I'm running out of time. I hate to say it, but you're my last hope.
I wasn't sure about her. Maybe it was the way she looked down her nose at me. But then, maybe that was exactly why I should believe her. She was a tall drink of something sweet, guaranteed to kill the liver just right. A woman like that would never talk to a guy like me, unless she was out of options. And instead of throwing money at the police, she paid her dues tracking me down. That had to count for something. In my time, I've learned innocence can wear a lot of faces. Sometimes it's the salt of the earth. Sometimes it's the spice. She came in with a knot to untangle. Time to start pulling threads.
Quit staring at me and say something. Will you help or not?
Let's talk details. I need more information.
Anything.
Your husband, he got any enemies?
No, not really. Monty worked for Fifth National as a loan officer. He would sometimes talk about how angry applicants would get. But denying loans is just part of the job. I can't imagine someone would take it so personally.
When it comes down to a stamp on a piece of paper deciding your future, it can't be anything but personal.
Still, nothing really stands out. Do you think one of them did it?
It's too early to rule anything out. You said you're framed, set up?
I don't know how else to explain it. Whoever did it has all the evidence pointing at me.
Well, let's start from the beginning. Describe what happened.
It was like any other day. He came home from work, we had dinner, and went to bed. The next day, I woke up to find him dead on the floor beside the bed with a bloody golf club next to him.
Well, that's not much of an alibi, I'll say that. Did you see anything at all? Hear anything unusual?
No, nothing. I had to have been asleep when it happened.
I'm starting to see where the cops are coming from on this one.
But it doesn't add up. I'm the one who called the police. And what, did I kill my own husband and just go back to bed? Why would I do a thing like that?
Miss Carmichael, I can't help but notice you haven't shed a single tear talking about this. You seem more upset by the police investigation than the loss of your husband.
Excuse me?
There's no hesitation reliving the incident. The only thing that's got under your skin is the idea of lockup. Now, are you playing straight with me, or are you looking for a patsy to bail you out?
What? No, I don't. Look, things weren't good between us. They haven't been for a long time. Everything set him off. If I didn't have his martini ready when he came home from work, if dinner was a little overcooked, it didn't matter. It was like he was looking for a reason to erupt.
Was he violent?
At times.
Why'd you stay with him?
I don't know. I thought he could change, that he could be like the man I married. But things never got better. I was just lying to myself, a silly girl clinging to the idea of Jekyll when all she got was Hyde.
I hate to break it to you, but I'm hearing motive.
He was a beast, but I would never kill him. I couldn't kill anyone. Besides, I was planning to file for divorce at the end of the month.
Planning? Did he know about that?
I don't know. I thought about it a lot, and I'd threatened it a few times in the past, but he never acted like he believed me, so I probably not. But it was becoming too much to bear. Friends were telling me enough had to be enough and that I deserved better.
Well, why the end of the month? Why not sooner?
I guess part of me was giving him one last chance to change, and to know that it's really and truly what I wanted to do.
Well, Miss Carmichael, I'm going to give it to you straight. You're looking at an uphill battle wearing greased shoes. You have no alibi. In fact, you're right there at the scene of the crime. On top of that, there's motive. Frankly, I don't understand how you're still walking free.
Don't tease me, Mr. Shadow. This is no joking matter.
I've never been more serious about anything before in my life. But I'll give you my word, ma'am. If you're innocent, if someone out there is trying to make you their scapegoat, I'll uncover it.
You will? You'll take the case? Well, maybe coming here wasn't a waste of time after all. Please, find the person responsible. Do it quickly and I'll even throw in a bonus.
Seeing justice served is enough, Miss Carmichael. Just make sure Nellie at the front desk has your information. And try to stay dry out there. It's coming down hard, and I hear it's going to get worse.
I'm counting on you, Shadow.
She left looking grateful, or as close to it as she could manage. The odds were stacked against her. Smart money says the blood on the golf club she mentioned belonged to her husband. They'd probably find her prints on it, too. Well, something bothered me. It's like an itch on the inside of your skin. The cops didn't make their move on her yet, and this case seemed more open and shut than a book about blank pages. I hated feeling like the HCPD knew something I didn't.
Well, well, well. Interesting indeed.
Get Ace on the line. We have work to do.
Do we have anyone in the audience that has some hot tips for our investigator tonight? Come on up to the microphone. Surely someone has some suggestions, tips. Maybe you heard something nobody else did.
What about you, Mr. Branham?
What about me, Shadow?
Hear anything that seemed unusual? Anything that stands out?
Well, I'm thinking she sounds a little iffy. What does the police investigation have from the crime scene?
That's a good question. I think I might actually visit that next. Crime scene sounds like the logical place to move.
Sounds good. Let's give our Faces Made for Radio players a hand.